We are very fortunate to have 3 of the country's top realtors with us today. Super lucky that they were all able to come out here. And not only are they amazing producers and managers and realtors and all that jazz, they're also incredible people and easy to communicate with. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys beforehand. And I'm really looking forward to getting as much information from here out to everybody else. So thank you all for coming very much.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to roll right into it. Gogo,
Yes.
have over 1,000 agents on your team, and year to date you're at 1.4 billion in funding, which is insane. And we're going to talk more about scaling and how you manage a team that large and all that jazz. But there's never been a better time for mortgage brokers to be growing, recruiting. Loan officers are moving in droves from the retail channel to the broker channel. So can you just talk a little bit about how you go about attracting new agents to your team? What are you putting out there that has 1,000 of them wanting to work with you?
Yes, I'm going to update you on the numbers. It's 1,200 and 1.7 billion year to date.
Oh, yeah.
We have grown a little bit since. Everything I try to do, I'm very systematic. I think when you and me talked on the phone, my brain, for whatever reason, just works like a computer. I look at everything as what is the end goal, and then what are the steps we need to build, kind of like the reverse engineering. So then I build a Staples easy button for everything, right? So for agent attraction, I don't call it recruiting and call it attraction because I've never called an agent. Okay. They always raise their hand. Do you guys want to see it in action? Like the system I built?
Yeah.
Okay. And I actually wanted to, I asked you this backstage if I can show you guys this one for lead generation purposes as well. So if you go to Instagram, so grab your phones, and let me introduce myself. I built everything with the power of social media, so hopefully you have Instagram.
They have Instagram, I promise.
Awesome. So let's say you're attracting agents to your brokerage, right? You create a video and you say, hey guys, we are growing faster than weeds. We are really looking for whatever the type of broker, lender that you're looking for to grow your team, right? And then you always have to give a call to action. So in my case, I'm looking for agents or broker partners, right? I call them agent partners. And at the end of my video, I would say just comment the word partner. So if you're on Instagram and you want to see it in action, just find me at Gogo's Real Estate. So in the search box in the bottom, put in Gogo's Real Estate. And any of my videos, any of them, pick any of them, doesn't matter, comment the word partner. And you are going to see it in action. So the reason why that's important is because with the power of video, you don't know when someone is open to the idea of partnering with you. That video is going to work for you forever. It's going to take me a minute and a half to create, right? A reel is usually a minute and a half. When you give them a call to action, they're going to see it today, tomorrow, 10 years from now. When they comment the word partner, the message automatically, just like you guys all got the message, they automatically get it as well. So then this is attraction, right? Because they took action, they already raised their hand. They already showed me that they're interested. So I don't need to convince them, they already raised their hand. And from that on, my system also takes the following action. They have to jump into my calendar. I can talk on that more if you want me to the actual details.
Yeah, and we're going to get to definitely some of the structure and stuff, but how often are you posting these videos on Instagram and social media?
So I have multiple businesses today. We have 9 different businesses. I believe one person can do it all. You don't ever want to overdo it, right? Because if I start posting just agent attraction every day, I'm going to lose them over time. So I would say I would probably do it about 20% of the time, depending how fast you want to grow. Okay. I think 20% is plenty, 80% business, 20% attraction.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love it. And like all this stuff, like, this is stuff you guys can do. I want you listening for things that you can translate this very, very easily to your business, and you can also share it with all of your realtor partners and bring them additional resources, help them get more business. This is all the stuff the best realtors in the country are doing, and they should be doing it as well. Thao, you work with one of my favorite brokers in the world, Han Thao, and she is also the hardest working mortgage broker in the country. I say that without a doubt. And I know that she gives all of your buyers amazing terms, amazing service, and all the stuff that you basically expect. But can you talk a little bit about what makes working with her like so amazing, and why rates and service are great, but like I know she brings a lot more to the table. What are some of the things that really bond your partnership together?
Sure.
Hello everyone, my name is Thao Nguyen, team lead of Win-Win Group in Houston, Texas. So I've been working with Han for over the past 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
And let me tell you an interesting thing that Han and I didn't get along at the beginning.
You didn't tell me that.
We
I
didn't
don't know if I
like
would have
each
asked
other.
this question.
This is a surprise.
Okay.
We didn't like each other. She thought that I was too aggressive, and I thought that she was too extreme. But as we started working together, we like each other more, and we understand each other's style. And what I really like from Han is she's always very honest, give me a lot of good feedbacks, and always trying to build my business. She's the one that helped me build a very strong back-end support system. I never felt that Han was trying to sell me anything. She was always there to support me. And what I love about working with her is whenever her or her team make a mistake, she always step up, correct the mistake, take the full responsibility. And for us, that is so important. And that's how she is my #1 referral partner.
I love it. So like, she's solving the problems that you have and bringing you solutions, but like the accountability aspect, I definitely want to highlight because I know that, especially as brokers, it can be easy to get into a habit of blaming the underwriter or blaming the lender. And I think it's the worst thing on earth that you can do. Even if it's their fault, it's still your fault. You're the one that picked the lender. You're the one that put the file together. And even if they're being unreasonable, they don't want to hear it. You should have sent it to a different lender. You should have had a better relationship with them, whatever. And all this stuff that like, it just doesn't really matter. They want you taking accountability. If you're out there blaming problems on other people, I don't know, maybe they're less mad at you, but what it also tells them that you don't have control of the situation. And that is the worst thing on earth you can do. All that the most important thing to them is that you've got control over the transaction. It's going to close, and it's going to close on time, and everyone's going to be happy. And if you don't have that, you're never going to get their trust. So, yeah, always try not to do that. Jeff, you also have a brokerage that does over $1 billion annually, which is amazing. I know that you're doing a lot of online marketing, like we've talked about before, but I know that you also do some of the more traditional stuff, billboards, radio, TV, things like that. Can you just talk about what that's like for everybody? I've heard stuff like it can be expensive and it takes a while to really see an ROI and things like that. Is that true, or what? Just share your experience with everybody.
By the way, Jeff Glover from Detroit, Michigan. I've been listing and thank you. Brought my family here. Been listing and selling real estate now for this May was actually my 21st year. So, yeah. So I got into billboards and TV and radio probably a good 10 years into my career, and it actually started when I basically reached a point of the law of diminishing returns with prospecting. Because I was a heavy cold caller, heavy prospecting guy. And no matter how many ISAs we added or how many contacts we made, our results weren't improving. So that's kind of when I started getting into buying online leads and buying advertising. And so a couple things that I've learned through that process is, number one, when you do something like that, you have to go all in. You can't just buy one radio station or one billboard. If you're going to make the decision to get into, say, radio, you've got to buy multiple radio stations and run ads frequently for several. I mean, you know, I saved up essentially 6 months of expenses to put towards one radio station, and I was like committed whether I got results or not. Okay. And then once I started seeing results, you know, my rep and I had discussions around, okay, maybe it makes sense to add a second one. And then, of course, now my investment was showing a better ROI. And then when we had billboards on top of that, now there's a visual aspect and, of course, the audio aspect. So it has been expensive when I look at, you know, we've dialed back TV quite a bit because obviously TV's changed a lot. Yep. So we're only on TV maybe 6 weeks of the year, where billboards and radio might be more like 3, 4, 5 months throughout the year. So. Have you looked at like streaming services or podcasts or anything like that? Yeah, so they call that over the top, okay, right? The Hulus and YouTube TV and so forth. It's not quite where I'm comfortable investing in it yet, because you can fast forward through commercials, and so there's not. It's not quite dialed in yet. You know, for us, radio works very effectively, especially talk radio. I see agents advertise all the time on music stations, and I'm thinking, you know, of course I've been doing this for 10 years, so I know what works and what doesn't. People who are listening to music want music. So when the music stops, they go to another music station. People who are listening to talk radio will stay through the commercials because they're already used to hearing talk. And usually there's a cliffhanger at the end before they go to the break, you know, so you want to stick around. You don't want to miss what they're going to talk about when they come back. So there is some strategy with you know, talk radio. And even, believe it or not, in 2023, AM radio is very effective. You know, anything that's news radio is very effective because those people are very loyal to their radio stations, and it's usually a large group of the population, news radio.
It sounds like most of the content that you do for this is designed for buyers and sellers, but I have to imagine, like, when you're saturating the market with your brand to that degree, like, it's helping you recruit agents. It has to, right? Like,
yeah, so we will do specific recruiting campaigns, messages like, for instance, you know, about our coaching and training, or about our environment, or how we won top workplace or something like that. But most of the recruiting calls or responses that we get are from agents that are just used to hearing our ads through the years, that want to be a part of a team that they know is well known in the market.
Yep. Very, very cool. Gogo, when we were talking earlier, so some of you might have seen, I've done it before, I do kind of an operations and process flow presentation, and my whole thing is operations, organization, and just having as buttoned up a process as possible. And I loved talking to you because you took that and like shot it out into the stratosphere. Can you referenced it a little bit earlier, but can you talk about a saying of yours that kind of delegates everything that you do? If you can't automate it, delegate it, and if you can't delegate it, eliminate it. Can you talk about, like, it's pretty straightforward, but like, what are some examples of how you kind of put that mantra into action?
So the easiest way is take out your calculators. I'm gonna make you guys take your phone out today. So take out your calculators, you all have one on your phone. Put in the amount of money you made last year, not how much you took home and not what you're paying taxes on, how much money you made altogether, and divide it by 2,080. If you worked a healthy 40 hours, you work 2,080 hours a year. That number that's on your screen right now, that's your hourly rate. You're never going to do anything again that is not worth or is not making you that much money in the hour that you're doing it. So, can you automate that? Whatever you're doing for that, right? You're going to all go home and write a long list of things that you do every day, and you're going to see that many of those things actually can be automated. There's an app for that, there's an AI for that, there's a system, a tracker, a spreadsheet, right? So number one, I try to automate it because then you're removing the human power. I don't have to pay for automation, it just does it every time, right? So I do a lot of automation. What I showed you earlier is, if you want to write it down, that's ManyChat. You can do it for free. You can send thousands of messages with a keyword, that's what I showed you. That's a chat AI. And the next one, if it can be automated, then delegate it. Now, even the automation has to be set up by someone, right? And it's not worth my hourly rate. So I have 17 VAs that work for me. So even if it's on automation, it's set up by someone who works for me. And then if it can be delegated, then you need to eliminate it because it's probably not worth your time. Right, so that's pretty much the first time I realized what my hours were. That's when, from that moment on, I've never done anything that is not worth that time. And the way my coach made me learn that, she made me write this down. It's a very expensive load of laundry. And I stuck it to the washer, and I've never ran a load of laundry. So I haven't ran laundry, guys, in 4 years. And so automation then takes to the next thing. Well, if this happens, then that, right? And then each of those steps of the process, it triggers another automation that's needed. I know I sound like a computer. I promise you it's really not that hard. But what happened with that text message that I just showed you, right? Message with the word partner. And then when the agents raised their hand, when you got that message, you got a link in it, correct? That link took you to my website. That website gives you the ability to look who I am, why on earth should you partner with me if I'm talking to agents, right? And then there's a link to my calendar. That's the step I want them to take. I want to take them off of the Facebooks and the Instagrams of the world. I want them to click the link that goes to them in the message. I want them to watch the videos, then click the button in the video to get into my calendar. And then when they get into my calendar, by that time I put them through all the homework. They have to watch 9 videos before they can partner with me, right? So they watch all the videos. If they get through 9 videos, guys, they're serious, right? So by the time they choose to jump into my calendar, I really don't have to answer many questions besides the, oh yeah, Gogo, but I have a very specific question. So I answer that and they're ready. And then we process them and then that triggers another automation, right? So I want you really just to look at the end process that you want and then break it up into bite-sized pieces. How do you eat an elephant?
Yep.
One bite at a time, right? So same with automation. You have to break it down to bite-sized pieces.
And on the same level, like she's talking about doing this at a far off scale, right? But like you can get there one step at a time. You don't start by hiring 17 assistants, right? You start by hiring one. You do that calculation all of you just did, and then think about all the things like she said, like ordering homeowners insurance, processing your own loans, things like that. And when you look at it that way, you need to stop. It helps you stop looking at hiring people to delegate as an expense, and instead you can do more of what you do that makes more money than what you're paying them. And as far as the automation stuff, like you can start one step at a time. Every single thing that you need to be able to build more automation into your process is in the vendor hall right now. This technology is not enterprise level anymore. It's very easily accessible at any scale. I have a completely automated process. We are a 5-person brokerage, and I am able to still originate a significant amount and spend a lot of time doing stuff like this. So the software is definitely out there. You just got to make the first step and start doing it. Yeah. Into more traditional stuff, Thao, you told me about you do a lot of events, a lot of client events, and you told me about the Halloween one that you do, which is amazing, and you have this contest in it. And this is something, listen, you guys should all be doing this yourselves and encourage all your realtors to do it, partner with them on it. It's just an absolutely brilliant idea. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I like to throw client appreciation party event. I call it client appreciation event. And I would partner with lenders, title companies, and people like Han. And what I did was we throw a party last year during Halloween time, and we have the contest where we allow the kids to go and dress up in their costume, and then we have prizes for them. And also for the clients who come to the event, we have amazing prizes too, like a brand new iPhone, an iPad, cameras. This year, we're gonna do something even more amazing. We're gonna have the clients come to the party, take pictures in that has a branding, the backdrop of our branding and our VIP sponsors, then post it on their social media. And the one who has the most like, share, and comments will get 2 tickets to Cancun, all inclusive.
That is awesome.
So that's how we build brand awareness. And also, by taking pictures of our VIP partners like lender and title company is also advertised for us and for our partners as well. So it's a win-win for everyone. Clients have fun, partners are happy, and it's also help with client retention and referral.
I love it. It's so sharp. You've got a couple hundred people, and I don't care if your event only has 20 or 15 people. You have them out there posting on their social media feeds, having a great time at your event, talking about how wonderful you are. It's absolutely brilliant, and you don't have to have a trip to Cancun. If you have been to a sporting event, you will see what people will do for a free t-shirt. They will do this for a lot less than a trip to Cancun, but that's a good one too.
Yeah, last year we have over 300 people show up.
That's awesome.
So this year will be more than 400.
That is awesome. That's really, really cool, yeah. All 3 of you guys do a lot of speaking within your industry as well. Jeff, certainly, and I know that you've done a lot of talks to realtors, giving a lot of detailed advice on what they should be looking for in loan officers to have successful relationships. Mm-hmm. Can you share some of those thoughts so that everyone can start implementing them and being more like that?
Well, and I'm sure some of this isn't anything you guys don't already know. But of course, as real estate agents, we get inundated with loan officer requests for coffees and lunches all the time. And in almost every case, the conversation revolves around the programs, the rates, or the service. And we know everyone's going to have the best programs, the best rates, or the best service. So it makes no difference when we hear that again and again and again. And so advice that I've been giving to a lot of loan officers that come to our events is take our content back and actually be the smartest real estate agent in your town without a real estate license. And so what I mean by that is instead of calling a real estate agent and saying, hey, can we meet for coffee? We got this new program or whatever. Call a real estate agent and say, hey, I just went to this conference or this event, or I just studied this particular agent or this broker, or had lunch or whatever with this broker who's using this system at a high level or is doing A, B, and C at a high level. Would you like to hear what they're doing to succeed right now? And so, we have several loan officers that come to our conferences because they want to hear all the goods. And one of the pieces of advice that I recommend to them is, listen, if I'm on stage sharing 17 ways to win in the new market, let's just say that was our last tour stop title. Take those 17 ways and once a week for the next 17 weeks, get that out to every single agent in town, and they will see you as not a loan officer. They will see you as someone who can help their business, someone who can help them succeed. Yep. Because not all agents are learning based and getting to conferences, or they're kind of stuck in their box, or they're with Coldwell Banker, so they go to Coldwell Banker conferences, or they're with EXP, so they only go to EXP conferences. So they're kind of just used to what they're hearing from their own company, where when you're getting information from a third party and taking it back and now using it as a reason or a value, you're going to stand out amongst all the loan officers in your town who are just calling and saying they've got the best programs.
That's awesome. I never thought of that. Yeah, like if you want to know what's important to realtors, go to their conferences and let them tell you.
And take your notes back and create emails, even videos. Again, just using the 17 ways theme, 17 ways to win in the new market. Once a week for the next 17 weeks, you're going to say, hey guys, just got back, of course I'm selfish plug, just got back from a Jeff Glover event, and he shared 17 ways to win, and way number 1 was you have to exercise your mindset muscle. And he gave us 5 ways that we can work on our mindset every morning. Here they are, right? Once a week you do a video like that. You don't need to go to 10 different conferences to get content. Just go to a couple, 3 a year, and you'll have all the content you need for the year, and then create emails, create social media posts, create videos, do Facebook Live, Instagram Live, get that information out to your community, and all of a sudden real estate agents will look at you differently than they look at everyone else.
And the end of that message is very similar to what Thao was saying too, and why she loves working with Han, right? It's not like she didn't talk about rates or speed or service. Like, that's all just expected. That is the baseline expectation.
Yep.
And what's going to keep them from trying to throw you off a transaction that they don't know you. This is the stuff that really builds deep relationships, solving their problems, educating them, helping them get better, and just helping them do more business to then refer to you.
And finish every post, every video, everything with a call to action of, hey, for more successful real estate agent tips like these, reach out to me, comment below, I'll take out for coffee, share the rest, whatever. Then you can close for your coffee. Then you can close for your lunch. But you have something of value. Otherwise, we can go get coffee anywhere.
I'm going to throw a curveball because, not much of a curveball probably, but one of the most common questions that we see out there, and I'd actually like all 3 of you guys to answer this, is, all right, I took them out to coffee, now what? So, Jeff, let's start with you. What are some next steps that you think loan officers should be doing to get that relationship from all right, good to know you, I'll send you a deal, whatever, to actually getting some commitment out of the situation?
Best thing you can do, and it's the same thing we do for recruiting appointments, you 2-step it. The first one is find out everything you can about them and their business and what their goals are and how many homes they want to sell, how many buyers they want to do, how many listings they want to take. Make it a discovery meeting. Appointment number 1. You don't do any talking about you or your company or your programs. You ask questions of them and their business. And at the end of that, you're going to say, hey, fortunately, because of my X years of experience or because of the brokerage that I belong to, we've got a lot of great tools and systems that we're using to help realtors like you succeed. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to take these notes back and collect my thoughts. And I'd like to put together a business plan or a plan of action that I think is going to help you succeed in real estate. So I know it's Tuesday. Is it possible that we could get together maybe Thursday or Friday, and I'll have a plan put together for you by then? And now you meet with them Thursday or Friday. You've got a reason to meet with them Thursday or Friday. So now you've got 2 meetings in 1 week with the same agent, and you're giving them solutions of things they can do to sell more real estate.
I love it. I love it. Thao, do you have any thoughts on, or yeah?
Yeah, follow what Jeff said. Really listen to our problems. No matter how successful we are, we always have problems in our business. And really, if you listen to our problems and help us analyze that and help us solve their problems, then somehow you earn our business. But with top producers, we always have our preferred lenders already. So the line that I suggest loan officers to use if you're new, or if you're trying to reach out to a top producer, like me, I already have relationship with Han, but if someone else reach out to me, approaching me by, hey, I know that you're working with Han already, but save me as your second option. If something doesn't go well, if the client doesn't get approved with Han, then save me as your second option. Something like that.
Yeah.
Rather than, I have a lot of loan officers reach out to me, talk bad about my lenders, and it completely turned me off.
Yep.
So never talk bad about somebody else when you're trying to get the realtor's business.
But yeah, agreed completely. Stay positive. You can highlight what's great about you without talking about what's bad about somebody else.
Yeah.
But if you reach out to Thao, Hana's going to come get you, so be aware. Gogo, like, you work with Randy Gammo, who's a broker out of Michigan. He's absolutely amazing. And we were talking about similar stuff. And he went back and brought her purse for her. That was the sweetest thing I'd ever seen. We were talking about all the reasons you like working with him and a lot of the similar stuff that we're talking about up here, but you said something that was really interesting, and that was that you don't want to work with somebody who does not want to work with you. And that sounds obvious, but it can be hard. Like, I hear brokers all the time talking about realtors they work with that drive them crazy, or like they're top producers that they put up with them. How do you actually put that into action, and why do you think it's so important to work with people you like and you want to work together?
So I want to say, with everything that's going on today, I really have very little drama in my life, and I like to keep it that way, right? In the past, I used to say, for a commission, $12,000, I'll be your best friend for 90 days. 12 grand, the best friend, 9,000, best friend for 90 days, right? Because I work for money, but when I got to a point where I wasn't chasing the next commission anymore, then I really stopped and took a 10,000-foot view of my business and said, who do I want to surround myself with? You know, the saying is that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I don't have to do this, I get to do this. And I get to do it with the people that think and walk and build the way that I want to do life. So Gammo really became my brother, so said in the industry. I know that if I needed a half a kidney, he would be the first one to be like, hey, if my blood matches, I'll give it to you, right? So I think it's super important when you're building. Loyalty is number one for me. I always joke and say, you only put a knife in my back once, right? So with that being said, I think it's super important. If someone was with you in the hard times, they deserve the spot in the good times.
I love it.
True.
I love it. And like, you can expand it. Like, yes, work with realtors that you want to partner with and you get along with and you would hang out with even if you weren't doing business together. But you can take it to like whatever business model you want to operate under. Pick the one that you love doing. Whether it's working with realtors or whether it's working with financial advisors or divorce attorneys or online leads, whatever it is, do that and go all the way in, and you'll not only be happier, but you'll be more successful because you actually enjoy waking up and going to work every day. Thao, you have someone on your team called a Care Bear, which is an incredible name and
Thank you.
very fun. Can you tell everyone what a Care Bear does and what the value is to your business? And when you guys are listening to this, she's going to talk about specific things to her business. We can all think through the mortgage process, and you're going to be able to substitute stuff that her team member does that you're going to be able to implement in the exact same way. And then finish it off, like, what's the value of it? Like, what does it do for your business?
Sure. So a Care Bear, I hired this VA. All she does is take care of my post-closing tasks, take care of all of my clients after the closing. They would reach out to the clients, order utilities for them, and even help them file homestead exemption if they don't know how to do that. But if they know, then we will remind them 30 days, 60 days, and then show them. If I have a lot of clients from out of town, they're moving to Texas, so when they move, then they need to transfer their driver license, all of that. We have the system already figured out, so we would send that to them, show them how to go to DMV, videos that we do, break down everything so that clients will have a really smooth process. And we even help that Care Bear even help the clients register for the schools if they ask for, if necessary.
That's amazing.
So that person also send gifts and cards to our VIP clients. And after every time when that Care Bears does something good for our clients, like file the homestead exemption, then Care Bear will notify the sales agent who take care of that client. Hey, I just did this to this client, make sure you follow up with her. The sales agent will follow up with her clients and ask for referral.
That's amazing. And it works. Like
And
you
it
are
works.
getting referrals. The
Yeah.
Care Bears are bringing referrals back to the table.
Yes, yes. And also we sell a lot of new construction homes, so we proactively reach out to the clients before their 1-year anniversary to order the inspection for them, put the list together, send it to the builder, make sure that everything is taken care from that list, and make sure the process is extremely stress-free for the clients. And most of our clients is really amazed with our service, like, hey, wow, they still remember us after 1 year, they're still doing all of this for us, and they always, often, most of the time, they come back and refer us their friends and family.
That's awesome. I love it. And like I'm correct what I said earlier, there's no reason all of you can't literally do exactly that. If you have a client coming from out of town and you help them navigate the DMV, they are going to love you. That is miserable for anybody. And this is very easy stuff you can figure out in a couple hours and just have it automatically sent out to any client that's coming from out of town. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You said something, you work with a VA as well. Gogo and I were talking earlier backstage, and she does too. Gogo, can you share just kind of exactly what a VA is, in case anyone doesn't know, and what they do for you and what your experience has been like working with them?
Yeah, so I had VAs probably over 7 years now. A VA is a virtual assistant. They're usually from another country. Now you can have VAs from the United States as well. You're just gonna pay way more than paying for someone outside of the country. My favorite spot is Brazil. Their time zone, I'm in East Coast, we live in Tampa. So East Coast time, they're really only an hour or 2 hours away depending which time of the year. So to me, that's very important. I don't like people working in the middle of the night. And then I look at every VA as I hire them. The first 3 months is my cost, right? You were asking me backstage, how long does it take? And especially with everything that I have going on, it takes about 90 days, 3 months before I can see them on their faces of like, oh, okay, I get what we are doing here, right? So, but what is $600? Like if you have to skip Starbucks for a month, there's your first VA, right? So I use Upwork.com to find them. I'm huge on disc assessments. Have you taken a disc before? Raise your hand if you know who you are on paper. Okay, especially if you're hiring your executive assistant, that person has to be your polar opposite. If not, you're gonna butt heads, right? And 2.5 years ago when I hired my executive assistant, she's been with me now 2.5 years, I just had her disc last week, and her disc is pretty much me. So they will switch, they will start matching you, right? And I said to Lindsay, I said, Lindsay, that D, if you don't check it at the door, that's what's gonna fire you, right? Get you fired. So I think it's super important to hire right, because then you don't have to fire. My idea is for the people to be with me for a very long time. I don't like the feeling of having to fire people. And then if you don't have the trainings, the easiest way, you're like, well, what jobs am I gonna give them? And how am I gonna train them? The easiest way to figure out what jobs to give them, there's an exercise. Take a piece of paper, draw a line in the middle, left-hand side green light, right-hand side red light. It really doesn't matter which side is it on. And you can walk around with that piece of paper for a week. Everything that you do for SOSAD, which you consider an executive assistant job, you can put it in either one of the spots. Red light means stop doing it right now, somebody else can do it for you, like answering emails, scheduling stuff, that kind of stuff, right? Green light, let's say you do a weekly video for your database, your VA can't do that for you. That's gonna be green light. You're gonna have to continue doing that. So by the end of the week, you have the new job description for your new VA. Then you go to Upwork, you make the job description, you hire them, you assume that the first 3 months they're just learning. So the first 3 months they go to every meeting that I do for every single Zoom call. So they zoomed out of their minds. And then eventually by the 3rd month, they are ready to rock and roll for whichever job you hire them for.
And then you told me something super interesting. You always have at least 2, so that one is training. It's really the other VA is doing a lot of the training. And if you have one of them leave, you're not starting over from scratch. So you just always kind of have this rolling level of expertise.
Yeah, so
to know what you want.
Buy 1, get 2 free, or what did they say? Pay 2 and have 1, right, in this situation, really. But in this case, you don't have to worry about, because I learned that lesson the hard way, right? You invest all this time and effort into someone and you're going to train them, and then one day you wake up and you have an email or a text message of like, yeah, I decided to leave. And then here goes 6 months of nothing, thank you, right? So always have to for every single job, and also most of the jobs that my VAs do for me, they all cross-train for the other person's job.
Yep.
For multiple reasons. A, yes, I don't want to be in a situation ever again where I don't have someone able to pick up that job, but second of all, I want them to not work to that, right? Like I work a million miles an hour is just my natural Energizer Bunny personality. I don't want to expect that of them, right? So I want them to be able to celebrate their own holidays, which, believe it or not, they have their own holidays, right? Which is not a holiday for us, which means I need somebody to be working that day because I'm still working. Yep. And also if they quit on you, then you already have somebody to pick up that job. So I think it's super important. But I wanted to throw that in there, that note I forgot to mention. If you don't know how to train them, so after you did the red light and green light exercise, all you need to do is I have this rule, I'll show you once, you watch me, then you do it, I'll watch you, then you do it on your own. When I'm showing you how to do it, it's videotaped, right? We do it on Zoom and it's recorded. Yep. So next time the VA comes in, you'll never have to train ever again. You just say, hey, go to Google Drive, watch that video, you're good to go. So you really only have to train them one time.
I love it, and that's really sharp, and it's the same reason when I'm sending mortgage numbers over to clients, I record a 5-minute video with my face right there, share my screen, and I go over it just in 5 minutes, answer all the questions they would ever ask, and they can watch it 7 times without taking up 35 minutes of my time. It's just much, much more efficient. Jeff, you have a phrase that you seem to live by, which is own the morning and win the day. I was never an early riser until I had children, and now they forced me to, and it coincides, I'm much more efficient now as well, so I was forced into it. But I know it's something that you try to get a lot of your agents to do the same. What does it mean to you, and what are some, like, the more tangible examples of better?
Yeah, so in our business, we really, first of all of our agents have business plans, and all of our agents have instead of a daily schedule, they have a morning schedule. They have what they do from the time they get up until lunchtime. And we do that because one thing I know about real estate agents is if you can get the hardest stuff out of the way in the morning first, the rest of the day will fall into place. So we have a very simple rule. The morning is for client generation, the afternoon is for client servicing.
Yep.
Morning is for client generation, afternoon is for client servicing. We took this so far to back when, obviously we still have copiers in our office, but back when agents used copiers a lot, we had a copier rule. And if an agent was caught at the copier before 12 noon, they had to donate $25 into a jar that at the end of the year we would donate to charity. And the reason for that was because there's no client generation that takes place at the copier. You're doing admin work, you're doing servicing. And so, by the way, not all of our agents have to be part of the hashtag 5 a.m. club. I mean, some of our agents, their day starts at 9 o'clock. And so we help them put together a really strong 3 hours. But we know, obviously, the day starts the night before. The more consistent you are in your personal routines in the morning, naturally, the more consistent you're going to be in your business routines.
Yep.
We know that if our agents wake up at the same time, we have a 7:30 a.m. We do have a 7:30 a.m. accountability call. Everyone has to be on that, no exceptions. Now, some of them you can tell they take it from bed. I'm sure they fall back asleep afterwards too. But everyone must be on that call Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. We know that if we can get you consistent in the morning with your personal stuff, the time you wake up, the time you brush your teeth, the time you work out, the time you shower, breakfast with your family, whatever. If you're consistent with the personal stuff in the morning, naturally you're going to be more consistent with your client generation later once you get into the office. And so I've just been a big believer in if you own the morning, you'll win the day. I don't care what you do after lunchtime. Everything will fall into place if you master that morning routine. And we've got another kind of philosophy that we live by, and that is because we're so big on the morning for client generation, the day I give up on my morning routine is the day I sacrifice my income 90 days from now. Okay. Because every day you give up on your morning routine to go to a closing, to do a walkthrough, to have an inspection, sure, you got paid that day, that's great, but that was for an activity you did 60 days ago. So our belief is if for our team, it's very rare that our agents are doing morning closings, morning inspections. All of our stuff is pushed to the afternoon. And a lot of the agents in our market know that. So when they call us for closings, they already know. Now I know Jeff doesn't want you guys doing closings in the morning. Is there any chance we can get this one maybe at 11? Just because we know every day we give up on that morning routine, we're sacrificing a deal 60 to 90 days from now.
Well, we appreciate you not having morning closings, so thank you very much
of
for
course.
that. We're going to go very quickly through this since we're almost out of time, but I do want to try to give one more takeaway for everybody. Gogo, starting with you, if there's one thing, just one simple thing that everyone in this audience can implement tomorrow that will lead to either deeper relationships with their agents or working with more agents that they aren't, that they want to be? What is that one simple thing that they could do?
I would say video is huge for me,
Video,
right? And
right.
I don't see you guys do as much as realtors do. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I just feel like you guys could do more of that. And I would love if you did that because you actually are the one who educate our clients, right? What do I know about mortgages? I was taught nothing. Right, so that should be what's going on in the industry and what is the rate, but not factually because facts tell, stories sell, right? Not factually of like, oh, today's rate is this, but more like, hey, we had a closing today with Joe Schmo and make up 2 names, right? And then just use that story to tell what you want them to hear, right? And then have your automations, that partner word that I gave you. If you go to my Instagram and put in buyer or you put in seller, you're going to get the same thing. Same automation, different end result. Yep. So if you have your buyer keyword set up, right, you can create your video. Let's say you do a video every morning, right? And then all of those leads that are going to come in, now you have even more leads that you organically generated that costed you nothing besides 1.5 minutes every morning. And people will just raise their hands when they're ready and they have more questions, right? And then this way you have all of the leads to give back to your partners. And I always tell my agent or my lender partner, Gamo, and this is before Gamo actually, is that I'll meet you where you meet me. I'm not expecting anything of you that I wouldn't do for your family. So if I'm feeding your family, I'm expecting you to feed mine.
I love it. I love it. Thao, same question.
Yeah, so I would say building trust and consistently deliver your promises with realtors like us. And what we want from loan officers is someone to grow and build this business with us.
Hell yeah. Jeff.
If you are going to make the decision to be that one in your market to help agents grow their business and you're going to use that approach, then I have a free resource I can share with you if it's okay with it. So every day, every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Friday, I write a message to the real estate community specifically relating to how to do better at your job. For instance, this morning's message was about 10 ways to get more people in your very important client Facebook group. 2 days ago, I talked about how I was on a listing appointment and the seller gave me an objection on commission and here's how I handled it. So I write a message every day, Monday through Friday, which I'm gonna give to you, it's free. Take that message, some you're gonna like, some aren't gonna resonate with you. Take as many of those as you want, put those into an email and share those with your agent database. So to get your hands on it, it's free. Just text the word morning to 55444. 55444 is the phone number. Just text the word morning. It's a daily message. It's free. It comes through an app or through email. You can choose which way you want to get it. And every day you'll have an option to take a message and get it out to your realtors that are prospects to you or your database. Again, it's 55444. Just text the word morning to it. It'll ask you your first name, last name, email address, and you'll be signed up for that for free. Take that and get it out to your agent prospects, and they will thank you and they will return your calls.
I love it. Yeah, thank you. Thank all 3 of you so much for being up here. I know everybody out there learned a ton because I most certainly did. So thank you very much. Everyone get loud if you appreciate it. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.